I usually don't make videos like this, but after my Blue Yeti X quit working about a month ago and I've been pretty unhappy with the sound quality of my original silver Blue Yeti, I picked up a Shure SM7B along with a solid-state Logic 2 Plus interface. Before we get into the video, we gotta take a look at how the unboxing experience was for the mic and the audio interface. Starting off with the microphone itself, here it is in its box, the Shure SM7B. It slides out of the sleeve. Pretty basic, you know? Inside the sleeve is a white box that has a big Shure logo on either side of it. Let's go ahead and cut that tape. Very nice. Lifting up the lid, we're greeted with some paperwork along with this beautiful green Shure sticker. We also have a limited warranty card and of course a user guide. Under the first piece of foam, we have the actual microphone itself wrapped in plastic. And as I picked this mic up out of the box, I realized that it was actually quite a bit heavier than I had expected it to be. Sliding it out of the bag here, take a look at that, the brand new SM7B. Along the back we have your control switches. Metal construction. There's your XLR port, and a little cover to cover the switches on the back of the mic. Last up in the box we have the large windscreen, which you should put on the mic if you're going to be using it in close-up applications to prevent pop sounds. Nice thick foam there, so let's move on to the audio interface itself. As I said, this is a solid-state Logic 2 Plus audio interface. It's capable of a 24-bit, 192 kHz output, and here are all the inputs and outputs that this thing has. So let's go ahead and cut the tape on this thing and take a look at it. It slides out of the box just like this, and we're greeted with a couple of USB cords. They include a Type-C to Type-C cable, along with a standard USB-A to USB-C cable, which I'm currently using. Decent length, it's about the length of your average iPhone cable. They also include this little thank you / get started type deal. Taking it out of the bag, you can see that this thing is built very nicely, it looks super clean, and here's all your inputs and outputs yet again. We're gonna go ahead and take a listen to how the buttons sound on this thing. As you can see here, the monitor level knob is very easy to turn, very smooth. As you can see, I'm just doing it with one finger on the top of the knob. You're also, of course, going to need an XLR cable for this setup, so I just bought some standard $20 6-foot cable. Nothing super special about it, but it is built pretty nice. Of course, with these metal connectors. The unboxing experience for the microphone itself, along with the interface, were actually pretty enjoyable, but for the cost of both of those devices, I would really hope they would be. This is the most expensive mic setup that I have ever bought. If I remember right, my silver Blue Yeti back when I bought it was around $160, maybe $150. The Yeti X, I believe, was $180. This mic by itself runs $400. I, however, got it on sale for $360. The audio interface is another $350, and then my XLR cord was another $20. You can get higher end XLR cables, you can also get lower end cables, so that part's relatively up to you. I also ended up having to buy a new arm for this mic because the one that I had back when I was using the silver Yeti on an arm just broke. I have no idea what happened to it, but I went to try to put it together, and it just wasn't having it, so I had to run to Best Buy and spend $77 on a Samson mic arm. I am aware that I could have got a cheaper mic arm for this thing off Amazon, and that's what I would have done if I had known I needed one before the mic got here and I had videos to shoot the same day. So I just went to Best Buy and picked up a Samson just standard mic arm. It's a 38-inch reach. It's also built a lot nicer than the old one I had, and it's also longer than the old one I had, so it was an upgrade that was going to need to happen eventually. I just wish I didn't have to do it now, but that's of course not the fault of Shure or solid-state Logic. What made me decide to get the SM7B? It really just comes down to I was tired of using Blue's microphones. Alright, they used to be solid, and then Logitech bought them, and as I explained in the 10-year anniversary video for this YouTube channel, the Yeti X that I have only had for a year and a half already stopped working. Now that's not to say that the Blue Yeti is a bad microphone, it's actually pretty much the polar opposite, especially at $130. You're hearing me through one right now. I would recommend this for sure as a budget microphone. As I said, at $130, it's probably more reasonable for people who don't do professional video production all the time, as opposed to spending almost $900 on the SM7B setup that I just got set up. I would also show you a comparison to the Yeti X, but as I have mentioned a few times in this video, the one I have is broken after only a year and a half of using it. Highly unfortunate. Cost aside though, I am beyond happy with this mic. This is the best sounding mic that I have ever owned. As you guys have heard, listening to this video, you've heard all of the audio through the SM7B using the bigger windscreen. I'm trying this out. It doesn't look as clean as the smaller windscreen, which I actually have right here. However, having it this close to my face, it will help with sound quality and pop sound reduction. As you can see, it's very good at rejecting the P sound or the pop sound. I also will add that having this bigger windscreen is a lot nicer than having to use one of these guys right in front of your mic, because this just does not look good. Now, I'm sure a few of you are wondering, what mic do I use on top of my camera while I'm filming videos that aren't at this desk? That would be this right here. This is a Sennheiser MKE 440 stereo shotgun microphone. I've been very happy with this microphone. It of course sounds a lot better on higher end cameras, but even on my Panasonic G85, which has a relatively crappy preamp, this thing still sounds very good. It's a nice mic. It looks kind of strange, but it is a stereo shotgun microphone. The only downside to it is when I bought it, it did not come with a windscreen. It's got one built in, but it's always better to have one externally. So I had to buy this kind of dead cat, but not really windscreen for $50 extra after the fact of buying this for $350. Now I will say I didn't buy this mic. This was actually a Christmas present from my parents back in 2019. So if you guys are watching this, thank you very much. I have gotten a lot of use out of this thing. This Shure SM7B, unlike any of the microphones back here, is a dynamic microphone. All three of the microphones back here, the MKE 440, the Blue Yeti, and the Blue Yeti X, are all condenser microphones. There are quite a few differences between those two microphone technologies, but the main one is condenser is more sensitive. Dynamic mics such as this work a lot better in very close proximity to your face. I've got the gain on my audio interface turned almost all the way up, and I'm like a finger length away, like a finger width, I guess, away from the mic, and we're just barely getting into the -4 decibels in Adobe Audition. Now, that's not a bad thing. It's actually a very good thing, because you might have noticed that in the background of this video, you don't hear as much hum from the hard drive sitting on my desk or any other background noise in the room, because it's basically just picking up my voice and blocking out everything else because the input gain is so low. Hopefully that makes sense. I guess this would be a good time to mention that audio is absolutely not my strong suit in the video production world. I have learned a lot more about EQing and dynamics processing, stuff like that, on voices or instruments. It's still absolutely not my favorite thing to do, but I would argue that high quality audio is as important as high quality video, which is why I spent almost $900 getting this Shure SM7B for videos like this and the upcoming Minecraft videos that we have. Really quick before we end off this video, I do want to mention that I have had an EQ on the sound you've been hearing through this SM7B for this entire video. So here's a comparison. This is what it sounds like with no processing, no EQ, nothing like that. This is what it sounds like straight off of the interface into Adobe Audition. Not bad, but EQing it definitely makes a huge difference, as it does with any microphone. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. I know I usually don't do videos like this, but I figured since I bought this mic, I might as well talk about it, talk about why I upgraded, why I spent more than I spent on my Jeep on a microphone setup, and also giving you a look at what it's like to unbox an SM7B and a solid state Logic or SSL, whatever you want to say, 2+ audio interface. Come back on Wednesday for the return of the DaSamNudge Tower series on my Minecraft server, where we're finally taking a look at Boss Club. I'm sure you guys are going to love it because it is my absolute favorite part of that entire tower. But until then, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Let me know if you want to see more content like this, because I would absolutely love to go more in depth with how cameras or microphones or other equipment that I use works and why I use what I use, stuff like that. So if you want to see that, let me know and I'll make it happen. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it.